Hello, YouTube.
You took my line. Good evening, YouTube, or whenever this goes up. Uh, I'm SJ7G, aka SJ Random Master. You might have noticed that this channel is dying, but don't worry, that'll hopefully change real soon. In the meantime, a sort of unofficial part 2 to the podcast released way earlier on. I don't remember the exact release date offhand, but I'm not looking at it. I just know it was a while back. Anyway, today, we're introducing the other two members of the EEnE, how to put this, Insider Club, if you will.
It's a club now?
Sure, why not? Anyway, they also help in production of the series, and they also met me through similar means to Gohan and TK did. Okay, guys, introduce yourselves.
John,
All
you
right.
first.
Okay, I was gonna say Asian first, but why not? My name's John, short for Jonathan. YouTube account currently Animator55. Um, I'm mostly an animator, occasionally a writer, but for the most part, I'm currently just a spriter for the series.
Okay,
Uh,
my name's Mike, and I'm Mike Vong14 at YouTube and the Melon93 on DeviantArt. You might have seen some of my work, and you'll notice that it's kind of bare right now, but, online, my profession is occasional spriter, kind of an animator, a little bit of writing, and outside of that, my official occupation is student.
And,
he's also kind of the Morgan Freeman of our group, because if you don't recognize his voice now, he's also the narrator for the startup for Ed and AZ episodes.
Yep, he's the guy that does the narrations. He did them since I stopped doing them.
I think it was episode 47 that I started doing this.
I think you started on 46, actually.
That might
So
be
if you want to know who was behind those wet dream from the voices that you've heard, then
John,
here it
shut
is.
up.
Yeah, he does the voice work since, everybody complained that I have a bad voice for the narration.
Oh, you don't
Because
have a bad voice.
because my narration varies with my mood. I'll either sound dead or alive.
Or both.
So,
You say everyone when it was me.
TK and Gohan to tell their so quote unquote origin stories. So, I guess you guys can do the same. How did you come to be a part of this, just gonna keep using club, because why not?
Alright, Mike, I'm going to give you the range for this one first. Go ahead.
Alright, so I came here before John. So, basically, the first time I heard about his series was just through a random, YouTube search. I'm thinking, hey, okay, someone makes all these crossovers. Maybe someone made Ed, Edd n Eddy and Dragon Ball Z, and I'm like, yeah, right. I Googled Ed, Edd n Eddy Z, and I'm like, oh, fuck, someone did do it. So, by that time, there were, 5 episodes around, right? 5 episodes?
Yeah, but I think you also stumbled across my quote unquote trailer I had on an old channel of mine that isn't up anymore.
Yeah, that one.
Which is consisted of a bunch of crappy MS Paint, essentially. Title cards, I guess you could say.
So to explain that obsession, I just got off binge watching Super Mario Bros. Z, so I was looking for the next quote-unquote great crossover to blow my mind. And when I first watched the first episode, I was like, what the fuck did I miss? So basically, my first comment was like, hey, this was a great series, but did I miss something? So
The infamous first episode.
yeah, so what started out as a simple Q&A just turned into correspondence about really stupid shit. So months later, I pretty much get ballsy one day. I was 14 at the time. So getting ballsy for me is like taking a step outside of the corner. So so I messaged him and said, Ed, hey, I'm going to do my own version of Ed, Edd n Eddy Z. And he said, "Surprise me if you make it." And I'm like, "No, no, no, I'm gonna write it," because at the time I didn't know what the fuck Flash was. So I wrote it, and oh my god.
More on that later, though, I'd say.
Yeah, this I'll go into more detail about
Just,
that.
just stay tuned.
Long story short, I wrote about like 20 or so episodes, and uh, I'll go into detail about how crappy that turned out later.
I think there were some good concepts among it, and I'll go into detail on what I
There
mean by
were
that later.
there were a few, just like, I'm looking back on it. It's like you look at your old work and you're like, oh my god, why did I ever write that?
Oh, I know
And
that
now
feel. I know that feel.
and now nowadays I sort of like, do a few random animations here and there.
That
Write a
never
like
finishes.
what up?
That you never finish.
Yeah, I never Yeah, that is a bad habit of mine. I never finish like most of like 90% of what I start. So
And nowadays, I just send him animation, narration scripts to go through every now and again.
and and also every now and again you also ask me to do the eye catches.
Yes, he's also drawing the eye catches. That's right.
Yeah, so like
And I
if you
color
want,
them.
so and yeah, Gohan also colors them, and he does a fantastic job at it.
Oh,
So
really? I didn't know about. Actually didn't know that part. Well done, Gohan. Well done.
yeah, he really does. And
Thank you.
um, and yeah, like that was like 5 years ago, and now here I am, just talking with SSJ about really stupid shit, and the rest of you guys.
All right, I think that's Mike's origin story. Now it's Sasuke's turn.
Okay, so my origin story is kind of more or less the same. Well, in the beginning as Mike's, I was also on YouTube. I, for the love of God, cannot remember what I was searching. I think I was just randomly searching for sprite fights because that was all I ever looked up at the time. And while watching a video, I forgot what it was, I happened across the recommended bar, and I see Ed in sprite form, and I'm just like, the fuck is this?
And watch the first episode having no comprehension
I
of what
I
the hell he
began
just watched.
I saw the title, it said Ed and AZ, and I'm like, really? So I kind of just, clicked the link, expecting what the title suggested. Just like Mike, I was confused because of the first line uttered in the series, making me think there may have been a prequel or something leading up to this. I found out there wasn't, but, the concept alone kept me hooked. Let's see. I believe there was like 20 something episodes made by the time I had actually spotted the series.
I think there was like 21 when you joined in. Maybe.
At the
I
time,
think that's about right.
this is back when SSJ
Be-
sent out his episodes by parts.
Because I definitely remember you like coming in at least before the finale to the Chaos Saga. I
I
remember
believe
that.
so. Yes, because when I was in it, the Chaos Saga was still being produced.
Sasuke's, I think you also joined the beta in the late stages.
Yes, I'll get to that.
Okay.
When um, after watching a couple episodes, and I'll let you all know, what I create depends on what I'm fixated on at the moment. It's followed me even today. I will be fixated on something and then decide, you know what? I'm gonna make this for a while. So after watching maybe 7 episodes, not including parts of NNAZ, I said, you know what? Fuck it. And I had just gotten Flash at the time, and said, you know what? I've only been using this program for a month. I think I'm ready for a full-fledged fight. And that is when the original Ed and Eddie vs. Broly was born. 2011, February 14th.
I would say to
Oh
go into
yeah,
more detail on the development of that and the
yeah,
remakes later, though.
yeah. Because
I'll be sure to. Anyways, when I first made it, I believe I asked you for permission if I could, didn't I?
Yeah, but, guys, I said this before, I'll say it again. As long as you're not being nasty, I don't really give a shit what you do.
To be fair, though, at the time, I did not know you.
That is true. But I wanted to get that aired out again. I like to make people do things of my work as long as it's not friggin' nasty.
But that's a different part of the internet we won't discuss about.
Oh, please, yeah, I'm not gonna get into that. Just know,
So,
you
after
are
three,
free to do what you want.
right. After creating the 3 parts, it was supposed to be only 2, and believe it or not, it was Toon King who requested a third. I received a request by a former member of the NNAZ group. Her name was Dog Days, who at this moment just seemed to have vanished off the face of the earth.
Actually, she's still around, but we'll go into her another time,
Right.
I guess.
So she invited me to what was the original group, where we conversed before we all discovered Skype.
It was a Zat.
Yeah.
It was
XAT.
yeah, and from then I
We
got
were
I actually
still
got
on
introduced
that,
to writing
even
because
though
at
it's
the
on
time I
Skype.
was only an animator. I was introduced to a beta story involving the Eds and some other fan-made characters, and got the opportunity to add my own and contribute to the story. And at the time I sucked. I was horrible.
I have so many
I've still seen people. I've still seen role players write worse than you did back then.
I've
So
seen.
I'll get more into my writing a little bit later. But yeah, that's pretty much sums up my origin.
All right, now the same questions that we answered in the first podcast. Let's just go down the list. Both of you can answer this. Celsius, Mike, your favorite EEnE character as of the latest episode.
Okay, I'll go with this one. I'm gonna go. I'm not even gonna get into certain things I dislike because we've had this conversation on ourselves for too long. Eddie is hands down my favorite.
Oh my gosh.
Any reason why?
Well, let's see. Just from the original cartoon series, Eddie was always just that character you wish you could be. The guy who honestly doesn't care what you do or what you think of him. He does it because he wants to.
Is it
Um,
because his snarkiness got up to 11 in this version?
Pretty much, yeah.
Mike, same question. Your favorite EEnE character?
I'm literally conflicted between Ed because he's my favorite character out of the original series, and Utonium because I like how he was handled in this version. Like, though his origin leaves much to be desired. I'm not sure if that's ever going to be gone into detail, but
Yeah, you never know.
you never really know.
Might take one brave afternoon of conversing to finally piece together a story.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's neither here nor there. That might be something for Untold, though, I can put into consideration. When I finally get on Untold.
Oh my God, go on. Why? What are you doing?
So how about your least favorite characters?
Yeah.
Ooh, least favorite. See, now that's a tricky one.
I say whatever you want, guys. I don't mind.
My least favorite character. I want to say Drew.
Okay. Any reason why? I have a pretty good feeling I know already,
Wow.
but tell the viewers.
Ignoring the fact that he's a shameless, well, shameful, because we've all admitted this. He's basically a Goku recolor, but recolors are a dime a dozen. It was his attitude was one thing, but it was his certain attitude towards certain aspects, which was mostly the Sonic crew, and his reason for hating them. It was like it's one thing for him to think, anthros are abominations. It's another one to blame your entire hatred on Sonic 06.
Yeah, that was a
Now,
fumble on
I
my
will
part.
admit the game was bad. It gives me nightmares. I still wake up cutting myself.
The game was
But,
horrible. Shut up.
That's
but
not really
to
something to
base
get into. I mean,
your entire hatred to the point where I'm pretty sure Drew would have considered genocide off of that game seemed like a little much.
Thankfully, I think TK saved his character somewhat in the PPG saga. Okay, Mike?
Okay.
Same question.
Okay, I'm sorry, man, but I'm gonna have to go with Corey here.
Okay, reason?
The Mary Sue status, just fucking Mary Sue status. Okay,
Eh,
that's my.
you can make that argument. I mean,
how was it? How explain? Question mark.
What?
I was Mary Sue, he asked.
Would you care to
How is he Mary Sue? Because he always
Yeah.
he's always like the strongest out of the entire group. He got to be Super Saiyan first. He gets a girlfriend, and
Well, I'm gonna have to stop you there.
okay,
Right?
okay. Technically, he didn't get a girlfriend, but he has a love interest. Okay, he has a love interest.
Yes, an unrequited love interest. That doesn't seem very Mary Sue-ish. Not to mention,
What do you
he
mean?
was.
What do you mean it wasn't unrequited?
She said no.
Yeah, and then later in
Doesn't matter.
episode
At, no,
49,
no, no. You don't
she
understand.
gets all
At this
defensive about
point,
it.
at this point, he's gone. Any feelings she may have for him, he doesn't know about anymore.
Okay.
Not
I,
to
I'd say Corey was more of just like the typical genius rather than Mary Sue.
not to mention, he
Because
did almost die
he was
at
a
the
Mary
hands
Sue.
of
He
Mega
literally
Sonic.
Yeah, and then he survived.
Yeah, that's when the Zenkai kicked in.
because of
Just oh boy.
I don't think this is gonna go much further than
Yeah.
this. Well, if we keep going on this, we're gonna be here for another 20 minutes, I think.
Yes.
So both of you now, favorite Ed and AZ episode of the 49-hour released.
Ooh, favorite. That's.
Episode 22, hands down.
I pretty much know the reason already, but tell the viewers.
that.
Well, the Eds get their time in the spotlight for the first time. Just get to lay waste to a main villain. That's pretty much it. And the choreography was really good, and I liked the way the animation was handled. And what else did I particularly like about that episode? I also liked the way you fucking finished that fight. just Naz says doesn't even say any more than 2 words. Well, actually, 3
Because the
words.
power of boners is strong with this one.
The power of bonus resonates strong with the servers of the 7 servers of Chaos, aka the Chaos Emeralds.
The power of boners has been passed down the Armstrong family for generations.
Mike, everyone.
Well, yeah, that was a pretty good episode, I will admit.
So if you had to pick one, do you have one?
My
Celsius?
favorite is the final battle between Corey and Blossom.
Any reason why?
Also, what Mike said, choreography, but hands down, the best animated fight you've made to date. The fighting was awesome. I could actually feel the level of risk considering the time limit and just the overall fact that he was the only one who could fight Blossom at the time, and then you also had the part that Sonic had died, so there was a lot of risk and a lot to lose from all that.
Of course, everyone's going to be claiming
And don't
because
forget Blossom.
at the time they didn't know about that. So
Not to mention, yeah, it's Blossom, because I got the Spider and saw her fight.
I got the
So there's a bit of a cynical.
And she was a
reason.
slut because she showed things, man. She was exposed.
Yeah, that's my reason for.
Let's move away from here before this gets any more awkward. Sasuke's Mike. Who would you have made a fighting character in the series after the series got longer and introducing the character as a fighter became impossible?
John, you want to take this one?
I want to say Johnny.
And reason why?
Captain Melonhead.
I feel obviously the Captain Melonhead reference, but I feel like, and I've done this before, but I'll get on that later. I feel like his nature mode could have had so much promise,
Instead, it was just used as a cheap way to turn Johnny into Mr. Exposition.
which basically was null and void considering Tailscope.
Yeah. So, yeah, Mike, how about you?
Either Rolf or Jimmy. Rolf because we know he's fucking tough as shit.
Jimmy is an interesting choice. Yeah, I want to know your reason on that.
Jimmy,
there was an episode in the original series where Double D was accidentally kicking the shit out of everyone at school. It all just happened to be just a bunch of misfortunate
Oh
accidents.
yeah, a fistful of Ed.
Yeah, and then Jimmy believed him and helped him set up a fight. And then when it got too serious, Jimmy trashed the fuck out of Double D. Just trashed.
To be fair, Double D is about as pathetic as Jimmy is in that series.
No. You don't.
Yeah, it was a girly fight until Eddie started ramping up the yeah.
Yeah, you don't understand. I don't think anyone else would have trashed Double D that hard.
Well, to be fair, yeah, part of Double D's tongue was bitten off.
Yeah.
Jimmy just straight up turned to Mike Tyson there for a few minutes.
Yeah, so I feel like there could have been something like with Gohan, in the early days of Dragon Ball Z, something there. So that's why I say.
And it will also diversify the cast, just being a bunch of essentially aliens.
And animals. Yeah.
Essentially
wanna-
aliens. Yes.
We're
The best
all
comparison-
aliens in this
The best
universe. We just
comparison
have
to
to meet
Gohan
each
would
other.
be Sarah.
I'm sorry, what? Go on.
The best comparison, if you're using Gohan as an example, would be Sarah rather than Jimmy.
Yeah, but
Sarah is actually a lot more violent, so.
that's also true. Yes.
I was thinking in terms of personality, so. Yeah, that's why I said Jimmy.
Makes more sense. All right. Next question for both of you. Of all the concepts that come up in the EEnE multiverse, all the fan fictions that have been written since it came out, as well as canon, essentially, what are some of your favorites?
Um. John, do you want to go or should I go?
Okay, not to what's the word here? Not to sound like I'm shamelessly self-promoting here or anything like that, but I'm not. I think
Uh-huh.
TK kind of did place a universe number on the story I wrote, didn't
The Dark Future one?
he? Yeah.
One of us did, but I can't remember what it was.
Right.
Neither.
So, a while ago, and this story had been written after a while. I wrote a story referred to as Dark Future. It's basically an alternate timeline where during the first final battle with Utonium
Heritage Saga.
in the Heritage Saga of NAZ, the beam struggle in which the cousin trio,
At the time, it
um,
was Duo.
right, the duo, tried to defeat Utonium's Mega Death Ball. In my story, they had failed. They didn't get the energy from King Kai and the rest of the planet, and basically they ended up dying in the explosion. The explosion took out the entire city of Peach Creek. And through means that I never got a chance to explain because the story was rewritten, he had turned the entire world government against the Eds, who then were forced to go into hiding along with their remaining surviving friends. So the idea was basically, now they're the villains, well, as perceived by the public, and Utonium is the hero trying to end their, quote unquote tyranny. So they're basically trying to get revenge for Drew and Corey who sacrificed their lives and, clean their names.
Also, Kevin.
Also, Kevin, yes, in the original draft of it, Kevin had killed himself and also to help them escape. But I
Oh
then,
no! Oh God!
So
Yeah, I think we just triggered
dark.
a
So
Mike
dark.
flashback.
yeah, but then I ended up rewriting it.
Okay.
Kevin was where Kevin did survive. The story is kind of on hold until I decide to pick it up again.
Yeah. Mike, same question, I
um,
guess?
I liked how Key was explained in the Powerpuff Girls saga. Like, which episode was that? 44 or 45?
Earlier, it was like 42. 42.
42. Okay, 42. Yeah, I liked that explanation, and then I liked how you incorporated techniques from other series, not only as like a simple callback, but also just like to develop each of their signature styles, which fit them pretty well, honestly.
About the key explanation, I didn't write that. TK did.
Oh, TK? Well, props to TK. He's a good writer.
Yeah, I just animated what he told me to. So is that it? Anyone got any any other
So,
concepts to throw out?
so it makes you wonder who's the director, you or TK?
Uh, moving on.
He doesn't want to answer that question.
So no other concepts other than what you've already said?
No, nothing I can think of.
No.
All right. Well, we have time to comment on all the other your guys' stuff in a bit because you guys actually have done quite a bit since coming. Like you have actually done at NAZ recursive work. So you guys each get to gush and or whine about it, I guess, as the case may be. And last question before we get into that. Any major plot changes you would make to the canon at NAZ if you were the one writing it?
Ooh, okay, Mike, you can go first.
Oh my, Judge, no, no. Why are you making me? Okay. Um, Honestly, at this point, I'm not even sure because, like, I really want to see the direction. Like,
I mean, just up
how
until
this-
now. up
No,
until
no,
now.
no. Just no. I can't really think of any way to change it because I really can't. Because like I feel like it's written itself out pretty well, all things considered. So, John.
There are a few things I would have changed.
All right,
Uh,
let's hear them.
First of all, the Corey Tailsco thing, it went nowhere. So I personally would have omitted the entire thing. I could have had her as a character. She would have been a good friend there or something, or another. Honestly, if you think about it, her character could have gone either way. She could have appeared and not been a ship, or just not appeared at all. It was. I think of it mostly as plot convenience. I would have changed the climax for the space battle between um, Team Sonic and Utonium, just because I feel that that final strike was so anticlimactic after such an amazing speech.
And
Just
any other ones?
This other one, and it's not going to happen, and I've had this conversation with them so many times in the past.
The Cankers, right?
I would have brought back the Cankers.
oh my
They
god.
would they would have been the final villains of the series if I
No,
had my way.
John, no.
Comment
That
and
is never gonna
say
happen.
something in the comment section. We can make this happen or not.
No,
Probably
no,
not.
John, no. Do not listen to him, for he is an idiot.
Sasuke,
Pretty much, yes.
Sasuke, in a little bit, Sasuke, in a little bit, I'm gonna have to tell you something about that when we get to your bit in a bit.
Oh boy, I'm scared.
All right, so that's it. No other ones for either of you.
Yep,
I think of-
I'm good here.
All right, so I guess with that out of the way, I guess next up, who wants to go first in describing some of their various works? I guess I don't know if it's self-promotion because all of us get a turn to basically tell you what we liked and didn't like about it. But
It's only self promotion if you provide a link to the.
I mean,
Well,
I only plan to link it if you guys want me to, essentially.
no, because like my works are like the works that I'm ashamed of should especially just stay hidden, okay? Because like for if you were following me in the early days of when I started out that fic I mentioned, like my version of Ed and Eddie Z.
It was called Universe 14.
Yeah, it was it was called we called it Universe 14. You'll know that it was written in script format, which is a really, really big no-no in the writing community.
Oh
So-
yeah, no,
I didn't
no
really
graphics
mind
or
it, though.
stuff.
And it had a bunch.
And
It
it had a
also
lot
had
of
a bunch of
inconsistencies.
characters, a bunch of the
I
main
tried
cast
to
that
be.
weren't
I
the
tried
Ed.
to be.
It had like shitloads of characters. It had
I tried
shitloads
to
of
be
everything.
inclusive, which did not work. Which, trust me, it did not work. So if you want to try to be inclusive with your characters, good luck with that, because that will not work for you.
I mean, I had a cast of
Although-
like
although
9 main
there was one
characters this
part-
whole time, up until now. So imagine what Mike here was going through with like. I'm gonna try to go down the list.
No, as
Like over 10 easily.
okay.
Definitely.
I will say though, from Universe 14, there was one moment that I still remember that I always liked, and it was, can't remember it exactly, but it was when Ed instinctively used Key to make a sphere of the Sphinx in like the garage or something like that in one of the episodes.
Yeah, I remember
Whoa.
that.
Probably 2 things I mainly liked about it. Well, actually 3. One is that the Sonic characters were actually in a separate dimension of the dimension where Mobius is.
Even though Mobius is technically the same planet as Earth, only millions of years into the future.
Yeah, it's and another thing I liked was the concept of the ongoing like war.
Oh yeah, there was a war in there, but technically
I think you stated that your fic at the time took place 4 years after the school wars.
yeah, and then there was another conflict, and it was a fucking mess because
It was a clusterfuck, but it also
there was too much happening all at once.
But I kind of liked it for the mindless high octane action, though.
There were like aliens coming in, and then people are fighting other aliens in another part of Earth, and then they go to a new dimension, and then they fight more aliens, and you can.
And then Corey randomly gets possessed by the Ozaru, and Zack has to take him down.
Yeah, you can tell where I'm going with this.
Yeah, looking back, he doesn't really like it.
No. Don't really like it. That is an understatement. I fucking despise it. But,
Okay, are there any other
Well, it
works you
had
want to go
some good
into,
content, at
Mike,
least.
that we can talk about, or is Universe 14 the big one?
we can talk about the manga.
Uh,
Sorta, maybe.
uh, yeah, I guess so. Uh,
Also, Gohan, I remember that little comment you made in the first podcast. And I'm gonna say you're not wrong. You are technically not wrong. I will probably not finish it very soon.
But
But
before there's continuation of that, well, for one,
yeah.
Mike is never going to finish it because he's never going to
Yes.
continue it. He's never going to continue it, and so don't get interested in
Yeah,
it
he's
because
not
we said
wrong.
manga,
He's not
okay?
wrong, people.
Don't get interested in
I mean, for what it's worth, the art is good, but
it.
TK
If you
says
if you
there's a lot of
Yeah.
inconsistencies in the art, but
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
So
Also, if you want to see Mike's art, just look at the eye catches for all of the Inheritance episodes. I think right. We're gonna have eye catches
yeah, leave a
the whole time.
comment below. Yeah, whenever you see an eye catch, leave a comment below to tell me, hey, if I should improve it or if it's okay. Because like Gohan and TK are pretty much my only focus group right now.
and I'm
But
just happy with
yeah.
having anything.
Also,
So
what that comment about inconsistencies within the manga, there are still inconsistencies within the eye catches because
Yeah,
you
yeah,
cannot
so
draw anthers very well.
see,
But
Or
yeah,
you can draw
that's
them
why.
well, but you never draw them the same.
Yeah, he has a point, but yeah, that's why I'm
That
saying
that
please. Okay.
that first.
yeah, give him
Go ahead.
feedback in the comments on
Go
eye
ahead.
catches from here on. I guess is the main point.
Thank you, SSJ.
I might have them on the screen here at this point, or just in general, just to fill the time.
Anyway, on the
You gotta include
onto the
that fan art,
manga,
man.
onto the manga, I've got my setup is pretty much with a Wacom Cintiq, which is a huge ass fucking screen for those of you who don't know. So I've got a really great setup to work with. So
He just doesn't get to work with it all that often.
yeah, that's the main thing. So when I first started out, I got Photoshop, and at the time I didn't know fucking pen pressure was a thing because how old was I when I first got it? Like 16? Yeah, I didn't know pen pressure was a thing back then. So like if you just
Might
go
want to
like
explain what that is for the people who don't
okay,
draw.
so so what pen pressure is, you know what? Okay, so what pen pressure is that like you know how when you make a line stroke in like digital, like most of the time if you don't have pen pressure on, it looks like just like a straight fucking piece of shit line. But when you stroke it with pen pressure on, it looks like something you do in real life, like you just stroke the paper with your pencil. But you know what? I might explain that better later, but I can't explain that here because I don't have a visual aid. So anyway, where was I? Yeah, I didn't know when pen pressure was. So if you go all the way back of my to the back of my gallery on my DeviantArt page, you'll see just how bad the line art was there. It was just horrible. And also I scanned in drawings and didn't bother putting in any further edits besides just putting in the text. So yeah, it was pretty awful.
And I was perfectly okay with it because I didn't
Yeah,
care.
because yeah, and then years would
You
pass.
gotta.
Like years would pass, and then like I finally fucking discovered like pen pressure at the age of 18, 19. I don't know when I first discovered that, but when I did, just like everything just became so much better. Just everything. Like you can definitely see the
You gotta
difference.
put your
And you
avatar as in the video, bro.
sorry, what?
Um, okay, none of you can see it, but
You
right
gotta
now,
put that avatar in there, man.
Mike currently has drawn a One Punch Ed.
That no Saitama. Oh my
Okay,
god. No.
actually,
On notebook paper.
if we plan it out correctly, we might be able to just show it the moment you state it in the podcast.
Yeah, I guess so.
Actually, what I'm working on right now is just like a quick doodle of Eddie. I actually texted it to Gohan earlier, so Right now I'm doing it on my Wacom, so you might see that pop up. I don't know in the future. Hopefully, maybe.
I'm
But
guessing that there's still more about the manga you will talk about, manga, whatever. Not gonna pronounce it right.
manga. Yeah. So yeah, for a while, like I was talking to SSJ, you really needed like a backdrop to explain like everything that happened before episode one because that was just confusing for everyone who was new to the series. So we talked for a little while. I tried asking TK for details, but he said, you know what, if SSJ says it's okay for the most part, whatever. Like literally, that's his reaction
Now
to.
though, but now I think he'd probably have his own input that would supersede mine.
Yeah, that's why I always want to go to TK after I talk with SJ because SJ always lays down the foundation. TK just smooths it all out. So, um, yeah.
In about 5 years, you'll be seeing the Chaos Saga Special Edition. Anyway,
You'll you'll probably see like all the posters in like 5 years. Like remember the Heritage Saga poster for those of you who follow that? Yeah, you might see that in the next 5 years, just saying. But yeah, I do like to experiment with art styles and everything. So like everyone gets on to me about it not being consistent, which again they're perfectly valid. So like yeah, that's pretty much my work.
So do you have
alright.
any other projects?
Do I have
Nothing.
any?
Okay.
Do I
I
have
guess
any
that leaves us with Sasuke's in his body of Edinaze related content.
Content. Okay, let's see. The original content I created, and I'm probably sure some of you have familiarized yourselves with it. If anyone here remember watching this, I hope you remember the completely and totally amazing original design of Edge versus Broly that I
You
mentioned earlier.
stole my character, you shit!
I have no idea what he's talking about.
No. Okay, to explain, if you've stuck through to the end of each of the respective Eds versus Broly, you'll notice that all of the characters fuse into a character called Eden, or in the newer version, Eden. And I'm not to sound vain or anything here, but he was my. I originally came up with that
Yeah,
character.
it was one of the expand like okay, Mike's Fic actually had several like I don't want to call them spin-offs, but they were like things that he wanted to write now, but they were like way in the future.
Yeah, I was way too ambitious, but anyway, going back to John.
Let's see. The original was, again, like I stated earlier, I created that maybe a month after getting my hands on Flash. And looking back on it, I can only cringe in horror that I thought this was good.
You,
Again, I know
I
that
mean, let's
feel.
see.
I know that
Oh, for your
feel.
It
time it was.
involved changing sprite styles between each video,
oh my
and
god.
a very shamefully recolored Vegito.
That was Eden or Eden.
That
Yeah,
was
that was that.
Eden.
Well,
That was the first.
at the time, yes, his name was Eden. I just liked the name.
I remember coming across it and I was like, "What the fuck? Did this fucker like read my shit, or did he steal it from me?"
And yet, to my surprise, each video was making a lot of
Views.
yeah, getting a lot of views, and I was totally shocked. But
Well, when you look at it now, it's not really that shocking. I think Broly videos get a lot of views.
I know
Oh, okay.
I
That's
will
a
be
shame.
making on that soon, so keep an eye out if you ever happen across
You're not the only one.
Oh my god.
um
I'm not
then
going to
not
go
So
into
what
any
happened
more
after
detail
that?
on that.
not long ago, well, I guess like a year ago, almost. I decided, you know what, this is crap. Let me try it again. So I ended up.
I think I also made the decision to make Kai 1 around that time as well.
And
Right.
that is the first episode where you ever saw like the aforementioned manga images. So
More than
yeah.
likely, yes. I just basically
So
used his manga images together with his narration to paint the backstory.
You know,
Which is,
SSJ, you could have asked me to redo those, and I would have been perfectly okay with it.
I don't like waiting.
Oh God. Okay. Point taken. Point taken. I'm gonna need some lotion for that burn.
So, prices.
I'll be right
So in the end, I recreated it. I still stuck with the original sprites because I at the time had some well actually the not original sprites the first revamp of the sprites because I had some issues with with the second revamped sprites.
Well,
Like
that, and you didn't have the second revamp sprites until after Edge vs. Broly came out anyway.
right. So I did that and took the time to actually make a more
way more
like
epic, way better version.
something I wouldn't puke at the next time I saw a version of Eden. Well,
Now,
renamed
And he
the
also used our
end.
character
now,
sprites for the intro
Right.
to the one part.
If you notice on the second part of the video, if you ever watch it, the second half shows the sprite versions of each of us. You'll notice the Melon, you'll notice Toon King, you'll notice Gohan, and the final character to show up would be Corey or SSJ Random Master himself on the train. So if you
Yes.
ever get a chance, look it up. Let's see, what else has I made?
You mentioned
You
Dark
wrote
Future
Dark Future.
earlier.
Right, I did
Oh
mention
yeah,
Dark.
I do want to
But-
comment on that.
but
Your
what-
original draft,
what's the,
your first draft of Dark Future, you were gonna have like, I think you were gonna, I think you were going to reference the Patriots from Metal Gear, and
Yes, I
think you
was.
had Solid Snake appear at one point.
It was?
Yeah.
Yes. In the
You
original,
serious?
Yes.
the original was meant to take place after the Shadow Moses incident.
Which he
Basically,
was in the time. Well, wait, no, he wasn't. Let's see. You said that Dark Future took place 3 years after the original Heritage Saga.
yes.
That would have been around the time the Big Shell incident took place, 2009.
Oh, okay, so
I think
well,
Mike just rage quit.
No, I didn't rage quit. I just had to close the door.
Okay.
yeah, our resident agent tends to rage quit a lot, so don't be alarmed if he does.
Yeah, like a certain other Michael that shall not be mentioned again.
It's Rooster Teeth, Michael.
Shut up.
that I hate. Anyway, so
So
Sasuke, before you get into Dark Future, um, just because Mike mentioned this earlier, I'm going to mention it now. But in Sasuke's earliest version of the remake for Ed vs. Broly, he had one scene where Goku was realizing Broly was
Back.
Oh,
Oh god, I know where you're going with this.
So,
He had
Okay,
a
so
really,
for some
really
reason- for
bad
some-
animation error.
in order
let's see. The
Okay.
no, it was Goku or whatever. Sasuke had Goku have a tail because Drew doesn't have a tail or whatever, I guess. So you would know it was Goku. He put it to where it was facing in front of Goku, so it just looked like he got a boner from Broly.
No. The reason for this was because he was all in black. He was colored black. So you couldn't tell if he was facing like,
Oh yeah,
like if you were seeing from his back or if he was like turned
Oh.
sideways. So there we go.
Yeah, and that resulted in the animation error where it looked like Goku was popping a boner.
that
No.
I don't
Fortunately
think we
for
have
me-
that file anymore, otherwise it'd probably be up on the screen right now so you could see it in
No.
all
I
its glory.
just imagine imagine if Goku like every time Goku fights someone strong, he always pops that. Just like
Are you sure he doesn't already?
I
well,
wouldn't
it's
put it
not
past him.
evident. It's not
Let's
evident.
get away from the subject now. I don't want to inspire any more fan fiction. Okay.
That's for the readers to decide.
Yeah, it is.
All right, so and then
Go on
I
now.
mentioned
About
Dark
Dark
Future. Yeah, the original draft for Dark Future was
A clusterfuck.
It was a cluster. I had
It
no
was.
idea what I was doing. I was writing a story purely because I wanted to.
That's not a bad thing in and of itself. I do that all the time.
No, but then like you have to go back on it and then just like, okay, I'm gonna cut this and then cut this and I'm gonna shape it into this.
Yeah, that's mainly the big problem I realized I had for a
That
while.
was the reason for the rewrite, which from the first, what was it, 2 chapters I've written?
Yeah, I think you've only written 2 chapters since it's been up.
You've only written
And-
chapters.
And yet, the first 2 chapters of the remake have a lot more promise than the original, what was it, 11 that I had?
I think it was around 11. I lost count, honestly. I just know that you actually got to the point where they were actually having to fight their way to the Chaos Emeralds.
Yep.
But is that pretty much it for everyone, or do you have more? Either of you?
Um,
I guess I'd like to mention now that hopefully starting soon, depending on when the next episode comes out, I'm also going to be helping SSJ Random Master animate these episodes.
Yeah,
So
to help cut down the production, hopefully.
now
Hopefully.
the biggest challenge for that would be his and mine style. They're
Totally different.
It's very evident. Like, just look at the recent Ed's versus Bully.
I guess that there's a test run coming out of this work style, if you will, coming very soon, if you want to call it that. Well, technically there is one already. It's Sasuke's Eddie versus Sonic thing.
that was kind of a test.
No,
to see if I could-
that was the first test.
The second one is
This
much
one
more
is
important
the-
and is coming soon. I won't say much more than that, but no, that has something to do with the movie.
And
So
also,
okay.
also,
I told you I was gonna have like a question for you.
yeah.
Okay, let's go away.
So earlier you said how you really like when we asked basically what edits could you make to the story or whatever, and you said that you would have the final villains be the Kankers. Why don't you make an Eds versus Broly-esque animation where it's Eds versus Kankers?
Oh god.
You'd have to make the sprites, of course, but still.
Oh god.
And don't give me the excuse that wouldn't have as much impact this time, because you're gonna help me animate the series anyway.
You want me to animate the Eds versus the Kankers? Hmm?
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Challenge accepted.
Should I accept it?
At least keep it in the back of your mind somewhere.
I'll think about this, but
John, if you
but
do,
but you guys listening to the podcast or the guys who made it this far, let me know what you think. You want to see the Eds fight the Kankers in a domestic dispute?
John, if you do it, I will help you. I will help you sprite. Okay, I will help you do that.
That'll be interesting to see, I think.
Keep an eye on for the next couple months. See what happens.
Leave some comments about that. Like, we actually do want to see if you actually want to see that.
Yeah, let's canvas fan interest before you advance that any further. I guess I should probably take this time now to do some channel updates, because I know a lot of my viewers here are might be concerned about that. I've been busy with school since 49 was released. Long story short, took a lot of hard classes this semester, but I'm almost done with the semester now. So 50 will be started very soon. I will announce when it's started.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. No promises. 50 is probably going to be started soon. I will announce it on my DeviantArt when I'm starting it.
For those of you who don't know his DeviantArt, it's ssj5g.deviantart.com. He will leave a link into the description in the below.
Yeah, it's also linked in the description of the last video.
If you don't, yeah, so I was going to say, if you don't know SSJ's DeviantArt, you should probably go watch the first one. You probably haven't already. The first.
Go on, don't be me.
All right, and then last podcast we announced that there was a movie about the Rowdy Rough Boys. That's coming along kind of nicely. Again, the difference in schedules here and there is kind of made it hit a snag, but that'll be there will be a trailer coming soon-ish.
Again, fingers crossed.
Just a little bit of a kind of heads up to all you animators out there. December is a horrible month to plan things.
Especially if you have a part-time job.
It really is.
Especially if you have a part-time job like Sasuke's there. And if you're worrying about finals like I am.
Oh, finals. I remember that. Not anymore.
Shut up.
Oh, you'll be going back to school soon.
Oh, yeah, don't remind me. So, let's see. What else do we need to cover up on this podcast?
I think we hit all the main
points. I believe we had one question. Well, SSJ Random Master's kind of been on the fence about this, but, you know, we tend to try to look up for himself more than he does.
Because I don't care.
Okay,
enough.
John, shoot.
So
What is it?
here's the idea. We all know about Patreon around here, and honestly speaking, I'm not saying it will be done, but let's just say there was a possibility that SSJ Random Master would open his heart for your friendly donations. If you,
John. Okay,
would you
okay.
would you loyal fans be
Basically,
willing
John,
to
okay,
fill the void in his heart with your donations? And if you are, would you tell us exactly what kind of rewards you would want from a patron like that?
I'm not saying it's gonna happen because
long,
I honestly don't
We
believe.
might forget about that the day after today, but
long story short,
possibilities.
SSJ opened up a Patreon. And you're interested in seeing that? Leave a comment below saying what you want to see as rewards.
I will say right now, if I ever do open up one, I would not paywall any content.
Also, please don't make it like anything extravagant, like asking us to make an anime episode. Please.
Don't ask for anything too extravagant. I'm not gonna
Mike
be.
would
I'm
totally
not
do
gonna
it,
be
though.
ambitious
really.
like a lot of other sprite developers. I'm just here to make sprite movies. I don't really care too much about advancing beyond that.
Yeah, like a certain other
You don't have
series
to be.
that's
Fans
getting
want you to
rebooted
totally do
soon.
it.
Or maybe you'd like to see a commission done, a little short 1 to 2 minute fight between two characters you really want to see go at it to the death.
But if you do that, if and in the hypothetical event this happens, I would need to see that there are sprites of those characters out, or you can make them yourself before I would do it.
Bears versus Superman.
God damn it. Let's get away from this subject now. Long story short, I don't think I'm going to be making a Patreon, but yeah, might as well see if there would be any, like, I guess, takers. I just don't think I should. I don't know how to
Probably
put
not.
this.
Yeah, well, okay, it's okay, SSJ.
It just really makes me uncomfortable to think about doing something like that.
It's just a tap on the water. It's okay, SSJ. If not, we'll just take it out.
Probably another thing is SSJ likes to sometimes animate random flashes, and he has some ideas. I think I'm not sure. I can't remember because it's been so long.
Yeah, I
But
do kind of have some
he
ideas that's
plans
been
on
going
doing.
around.
Are you gonna
Right.
tell us
So,
what they are, or
in the comments,
just
well, it's not important because they're random, so it should be random. Anyway, if you have suggestions for random flashes, not too like obscure, because obviously those will never happen, but like simplistic random flashes with simplistic concepts and ideas, uh, make a comment about them. Maybe SSJ might animate in the future, because I
at the, at
remember
this?
I think it was in the last episode that was uploaded. There was a comment that some guy was suggesting Corey and Sonic, or
Corey versus Eddie versus
was it
Sonic,
Corey
I
and Sonic
remember.
versus?
It was basically
It
a
was
free for all
Corey versus
among
Eddie
Team
versus Sonic.
Speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, also, it's also best if you explain like the conditions and terms of the Flash. If you just say like do this and we don't understand the context, you may want to do a little explaining on that. Okay.
But again, that's all. That's only if the Patreon seems like it would have enough supporters. Like it's not like the series will stall further if
What are
we
you
don't have
talking about?
one. It's
We're not, John. We're not talking about Patreon. We're talking
oh
about random flashes, bro.
Just
excuse me.
random flashes that I would do anyway, essentially.
I have a one-track
Right.
mind, so
But
Clearly.
he really does. But yeah, seriously.
The Ed and Eddie Z team, people.
Now you know why it took so long to release 50. We're all disjointed as hell.
SJ, are you blaming us?
No. It's mainly the school thing.
SSJ, I am in nursing school.
Is there anything else?
I have seen.
Well, I'm also in school too.
No, I've seen human bodies and I've seen shit you wouldn't want to look at on a dissecting table. Shut up.
I already get queasy from seeing regular stuff that they would make you do in high school. Let's get away from the subject now. I don't think the viewers want to hear about our personal lives.
No, they really don't. But
So,
in which case, it's creepy.
yeah.
welcome to the internet.
All right. Anything else anyone want to say before we close this out?
Can I say the last thing in the podcast?
Yeah.
Well, you guys go first, and I'll say it.
So, as I
First
said
of all,
before, 50 might be started soon. I will announce it. Oh, go on. Do you want to go first?
June King 911 did not approve of this concept.
Yeah, he's not here. He's not in this podcast. He didn't
He
like the idea
was.
because
You're
we didn't
completely
have
against.
as much to talk about here. And also, he couldn't talk your ear off for an
Another
hour.
He's gonna leave a comment in the
Another
comments
thing.
below saying how much he hates us.
I'm looking forward to it.
Again, like comments. So, guys, we asked this in the last podcast, but no one really did anything with it. So, comments for Q&A, questions and answers. If you have any important questions that we could probably answer in like another podcast in the future or something that we can't simply answer from comments or whatever, go ahead and leave a comment about it because no one really picked up on that last time.
Yeah, we that's probably the reason why we just rambled on this podcast. Didn't get much done.
Anything
Don't
to
you just
add?
love us?
Anything to add, John?
Nope.
SSJ?
Episode 50. As I said before, episode 50, I will announce when I started. It's not started yet still. It's been really hard to get, motivated to animate when you're being bared down upon by computer science related stuff. College level classes, everyone. And the movie is coming along nicely. We'll have a trailer out hopefully very soon. Not very, very soon, but soon. Fingers crossed and all that. No promises. Life is very fickle, as I've learned recently. I won't get into that. Okay, I think that's all I want to say, so I guess Mike can close us out here.
Alright, so next time on the podcast, we talk about random bullshit that you possibly might ask us. From the EEnE crew to you, have a Merry Christmas.
Hello, YouTube.
You took my line. Good evening, YouTube, or whenever this goes up. I'm SJ7G, aka SJ Random Master. You might have noticed that this channel is dying, but don't worry, that'll hopefully change real soon. In the meantime, a sort of unofficial part 2 to the podcast released way earlier on. I don't remember the exact release date offhand, but I'm not looking at it. I just know it was a while back. Anyway, today, we're introducing the other two members of the EEnE, how to put this, Insider Club, if you will.
It's a club now?
Sure, why not? Anyway, they also help in production of the series, and they also met me through similar means to Gohan and TK did. Okay, guys, introduce yourselves.
John, you
Alright.
first.
Okay, I was gonna say Asian first, but why not? My name's John, short for Jonathan. YouTube account currently Animator55. I'm mostly an animator, occasionally a writer, but for the most part, I'm currently just a spriter for the series.
Okay, my name's Mike, and I'm Mike Vong14 at YouTube and the Melon93 on DeviantArt. You might have seen some of my work, and you'll notice that it's kind of bare right now, but online, my profession is occasional spriter, kind of an animator, a little bit of writing, and outside of that, my official occupation is student.
And,
He's also kind of the Morgan Freeman of our group, because if you don't recognize his voice now, he's also the narrator for the startup for EEnE episodes.
Yep, he's the guy that does the narrations. He did them since, I stopped doing them.
I think it was episode 47 that I started doing those.
I think you started on 46, actually.
That might
So
be
if you want to know who was behind those wet dream from the voices that you've heard, then
John, shut up.
Yeah, he does the voice work since, everybody complained that I have a bad voice for the narration.
Oh, you don't have a bad voice.
Because my narration varies with my mood. I'll either sound dead or alive.
Or both.
So,
You say everyone when it was me.
TK and Gohan to tell their so quote unquote origin stories. So, I guess you guys can do the same. How did you come to be a part of this, just gonna keep using club, because why not?
Alright, Mike, I'm gonna give you the reins for this one first. Go ahead.
All right, so I came here before John. So, basically, the first time I heard about his series was just through a random YouTube search. I'm thinking, hey, okay, someone makes all these crossovers. Maybe someone made Ed, Edd and Eddy and Dragon Ball Z, and I'm like, yeah, right. I Googled Ed, Edd and Eddy Z, and I'm like, oh fuck, someone did do it. So, by that time, there were like 5 episodes around, right? 5 episodes.
Yeah, but I think you also stumbled across my quote unquote trailer I had on an old channel of mine that isn't up anymore.
Yeah, that one.
Which consisted of a bunch of crappy MS Paint, essentially.
It wasn't, but, the concept alone kept me hooked. Let's see. I believe there was 20-something episodes made by the time I had actually spotted the series.
I think there was 21 when you joined in.
At the time,
I think that's about right.
this is back when SSJ
Because-
sent out his episodes by parts.
Because I definitely remember you coming in at least before the finale to the Chaos Saga. I
I
remember.
believe so. Yes, because when I was in it, the Chaos Saga was still being produced.
Sasuke's, I think you also joined the beta in the late stages.
Yes, I'll get to that.
Okay.
When after watching a couple episodes, and I'll let you all know, what I create depends on what I'm fixated on at the moment. It's followed me even today. I will be fixated on something and then decide, you know what, I'm gonna make this for a while. So after watching maybe 7 episodes, not including parts of EEnE, I said, you know what, fuck it. And I had just gotten Flash at the time, and said, you know what, I've only been using this program for a month. I think I'm ready for a full-fledged fight. And that is when the original Ed and Eddie vs. Broly was born. 2011, February 14th.
I would say to go into
yeah.
more detail on the development of that and the
Yeah,
remakes later, though.
Yeah, because
I'll be sure to. Anyways, when I first made it, I believe I asked you for permission if I could, didn't I?
Yeah, but, guys, I said this before, I'll say it again. As long as you're not being nasty, I don't really give a shit what you do.
To be fair, though, at the time, I did not know you.
That is true. But I wanted to get that aired out again. I like what make people do.
here and there.
You
Right,
never
if
finishes.
what up?
That you never finish.
Yeah, I never Yeah, that is a bad habit of mine. I never finish most of 90% of what I start. So
And nowadays I just send them animation narration scripts to go through every now and again.
and also every now and again you also ask me to do the eye catches.
Yes, he's also drawing the eye catches, that's right.
Yeah, so
And I
if
color
one-
them.
so and yeah, Gohan also colors them, and he does a fantastic job at it. So
Oh, really? I didn't know about. I actually didn't know that part. Well done, Gohan. Well done.
yeah, he really does. And
Thank you.
and yeah, that was 5 years ago, and now here I am, just talking with SSJ about really stupid shit, and the rest of you guys.
Alright, I think that's Mike's origin story. Now it's Sasuke's turn.
Okay, so my origin story is kind of more or less the same, well, in the beginning, as Mike's. I was also on YouTube. I, for the love of God, cannot remember what I was searching. I think I was just randomly searching for sprite fights, because that was all I ever looked up at the time. And while watching a video, I forgot what it was, I happened across the recommended bar, and I see Ed in sprite form, and I'm just like, the fuck is this?
And watch the first episode having no comprehension of what the hell he just watched.
I saw the title, it said Ed and AZ, and I'm like, really? So I kind of just, clicked the link, expecting what the title suggested. Just like Mike, I was confused because of the first line uttered in the series, making me think there may have been a prequel or something leading up to this. I found out there was. The good old
Title
days.
cards, I guess you could say.
So to explain that obsession, I just got off binge watching Super Mario Brothers Z, so I was looking for the next quote unquote great crossover to blow my mind. And when I first watched the first episode, I was like, "What the fuck did I miss?" So basically, my first comment was like, "Hey, this was a great series, but did I miss something?" So what?
Oh, the infamous first episode.
Yeah. So what started out as a simple like Q&A, just like turned into like correspondence about really stupid shit. So months later, I pretty much like get ballsy one day. Like I was like 14 at the time. For getting ballsy for me is like taking a step outside of the corner. Um, so I messaged him and said, Ed, hey, I'm gonna do my own version of Ed, Ed and Eddie Z. And he said, surprise me if you make it. And I'm like, no, 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 I'm gonna write it because at the time I didn't know what the fuck Flash was. So I wrote it, and oh my god.
More on that later, though, I'd say.
Yeah, this I'll go into more detail about
Just,
that.
just, just stay tuned.
Long story short, I wrote about like 20 or so episodes, and uh, I'll go into detail about how crappy that turned out later.
I think there were some good concepts among it, and I'll go into detail on
There
about
were
that
there
later.
were there were a few just like I'm looking back on it. It's like you look at your old work and you're like, oh my god, why did I ever write that?
Oh, I know that
Now
feel. I know that feel.
and now nowadays I sort of like do a few random animations